Hey guys, it's Candy. Welcome back. So today's video is actually going to be a review of all of the books that I read in September, kind of my thoughts on them, no spoilers. I tell you what rating I gave each of the books. And it's kind of weird the way this video turned out because halfway through the month I decided to share the 5 books that I had read so far for September. And then the second half of the video was supposed to be the rest of the books that I read in September, but there only ended up being 1 more. Plus I had read New Moon and Eclipse both in September, but I'm not going to review those in this video because I did very in-depth reading vlogs for all of those books. I've done the first 3 Twilight books so far, and actually next Sunday will be my reading vlog for Breaking Dawn. So first book I read in September was Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulic. This book was so good. 5 stars, amazing, amazing thriller. So it is about this girl, Mallory Quinn. I just found a bookmark, so that's good. I'm glad I opened that. And she takes a job in the suburb in New Jersey to become a babysitter for this couple. And they have a little boy, Teddy, who's 5 years old, who loves to draw. So Mallory used to be an addict, and she was actually in rehab for 18 months. And really landing this job was like an amazing opportunity for her. She gets to stay like in their little pool house in their backyard. So she has her own bathroom, her own kitchen, her own room to sleep, everything, and they have a gorgeous in-ground pool. So in my mind, I'm just picturing this beautiful, beautiful house. The wife, she's, I think, either a therapist or psychiatrist or something like that. She comes from money, and then the guy, he does some like sort of sales thing. I can't remember exactly what, but anyways, it ends up that this little boy starts drawing pictures that become more and more disturbing. And what makes this book so interesting is there's drawings throughout the book. So like all of a sudden his drawings get more and more advanced. Like you look at them and you're literally like, there's no way a 5-year-old is drawing these pictures, but he is. And he says that he has this invisible friend who's telling him what to draw, and his parents completely fine with it, not suspicious at all. But Mallory, on the other hand, is like, something is going on. Like, is there a ghost in his room? Does he have like some sort of mental health issue? Like something is happening. So she keeps trying to investigate it and figure out what's going on. And of course the parents are just trying to brush it under the rug. And then like all this creepy stuff starts happening. Like it's insane. I couldn't get through this fast enough. It was so interesting, so entertaining, scary, spooky. There's like a creepy neighbor. There's a Ouija board. There's a guy that she kind of starts getting involved with who's trying to help her. The dad's a little weird. Like it's just really good. Next book I read was Tell Me Lies by Carola Lovering. Reason I read this book, because this has actually been on my shelf for a long, long time, is this was made into a series that's on Hulu. And I told myself I wanted to read the book first before I started watching the series. So I also flew through this book pretty quickly. I gave it 4 stars. I mean, I really enjoyed it. It's a really toxic relationship. You have this girl, Lucy. She goes away to college. She does not have a good relationship with her mom because of something that her mom did to her. So she actually like calls her mom by her first name. Right away when she arrives at college, she meets this guy, Steven, at a party, and she just becomes obsessed with him. And this guy is just a total a-hole. Like anything you can imagine about a guy, that's Steven. Of course, he's attractive and complicated, dreamy, flirty, like all the things a college girl probably looks for in a guy, I guess. But once you just really get to see who he is, you will just hate this guy. On top of the fact he has this hidden secret that just adds to the fact that you just cannot stand this guy, and you get so frustrated that Lucy is so hung up on him. And she knows not to trust him. Like all of the signs are there. Like she's always paying attention to things. Like when he goes out of town, he takes condoms with him, like just really suspicious things that her gut is telling her not to trust him, but yet she's still constantly hooking up with them and revolving her entire life around him, really. Even though I'm older, I still really enjoy that are based on like young adults, kids in college, the whole relationship, dating, hooking up, cheating, all that stuff. I still really like books like this, and the series on Hulu is actually pretty good. I wouldn't say it's like to die for like some shows that I have watched, but it's pretty interesting. But yep, that's my thoughts on that one. The next up is Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney, and I was disappointed reading this book. I mean, it's good. It starts out kind of slow. It's basically about this family who, after years of not seeing each other, and they all get together for Nana's 80th birthday at her house, and she lives in one of those houses where like it's out in the water, so then like when the tide comes in, there's like a time frame period that you can't leave the house because the water literally comes up and like goes over her driveway, I guess. Yeah, it says there's an 8-hour period that you can't come or go from the house. So here it is, Grandma's birthday, all the family has arrived, and Grandma ends up dead. And no one knows what happened. And then as some time goes by, someone else ends up dead. So they're just kind of dealing with a lot of things from their past, family drama. I mean, it's interesting, but it just kind of drags on. And then the twist is just so, like, you know how usually in a thriller book, the twists kind of just really add to the book? The twist just kind of annoyed me, and it made me not like the book. So I was really, really extremely disappointed in this book. And I only gave it 1 star, which really is pretty harsh. Maybe I should change it to 2, because I mean, I don't know. The writing's not horrible. I just didn't like the book. I read Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney, and I really enjoyed that, so I had a lot of high hopes for this one, and I just was like, I would not recommend this to anyone, unfortunately. I changed my rating to 2 stars because 1 is pretty harsh. Okay, Thank You for Listening by Julia Whelan. Julia in like real life is actually a narrator for a bunch of audiobooks. I had no idea who she was. I guess she wrote another book called My Oxford Year. Oh, she's actually a Grammy-nominated audiobook director. So anyways, I just had seen so many people sharing this on their Instagram, saying how much they enjoyed it. I should have paid closer attention because the people that were enjoying this were listening to the audiobook. And then after I picked up the book, had it on my shelf to read, everybody that was writing good reviews on Goodreads was saying, listen to the audiobook. It's so good on the audiobook. I should have taken that advice and just went for the audiobook because I did not finish this book. I got about 1/4 of the way through and I didn't like the characters. I couldn't even keep a couple of the characters straight. There was literally one point that I was like, is this person a boy or a girl? Like, I was so confused. The names are just horrible. Siwani Chester, an audiobook narrator. She calls her grandma blah, blah, blah. I don't know. This just really, I don't know if I was having a bad day or what. I'm like, maybe I should try this at another time, because I have done that before, where I've started reading a book and I'm like, no, it's just not hitting the spot. Try this another time. Maybe I should have done that with this book, but then after I thought about it, I'm like, I'm not gonna go back and read this. So I just DNF'd it. Moving on. All right, last night I just finished Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, and holy shrimp is what I said on my Instagram post, because I'm not one to usually cuss all that much, especially in my Instagram posts. But what, I read this in 24-hour period, started it at night before I went to bed, finished it the following evening, and Wow. So Blake Crouch is kind of known for his like sci-fi thrillers. I've read Recursion by him as well. I thought there was another book that I read by him as well, but looking on my Goodreads account, none of them sound familiar, but he's written a lot of books. This is actually going to be turned into a series with Jennifer Connelly as the lead female. So this book is actually about this guy, Jason, and I'm gonna just actually read this excerpt. Is that what it's called when you say that? Because I was trying to explain this book to Ken last night when I finished reading it because it's just so good and it's hard to explain. So here in Blake Crouch's words, this is how he introduces the premise of the book to his readers. A brilliant physicist named Jason Dessen is living in Chicago with his wife Daniela and son Charlie. He is a true genius, and while there was a point in his late 20s when his research could have made him a star in his field, he instead chose a family-focused life. One night while walking home, he's abducted by a mysterious, masked man and injected with a drug. When he next awakes, his world has completely changed. He's no longer married, doesn't have a son, and has achieved professional success beyond his wildest dreams. This sets him on a thrilling, mysterious, and at times terrifying journey to learn what has happened to him and to find his way home to the people and the life he loves. Okay, that's a pretty good description, but I'm gonna go a step further, and hopefully this isn't a spoiler, because if somebody told me this little piece, it would have hooked me even more. I'm not gonna give the details, but just envision this. There is this box that you can go into, and when you go in the box and inject yourself with this medicine, you can basically time travel. They never use those words in the book. That is the easiest way for me, without a scientific, brilliant mind, to put it into layman terms. It's just so cool. 6 stars. If 6 stars existed, this is 6 stars. I wish I could read this all over. I could actually read this again because it's just so interesting. And I'm like, I need more books like this. I don't really picture myself being like a sci-fi type of reader. I just cannot wait to watch the series of this, to just experience the whole journey again. All right, guys, does this look familiar? So here I am sharing the one last soul book that I read in the month of September. It is The Flat Share by Beth O'Leary. Looking back now, I actually rated it 3 stars, and I feel kind of bad. And I think it's just because it was such a slow burn. The first half of the book, just there's so many unnecessary chapters that I was like, what exactly is the point? So it really took a little bit for the story to get going, but then when it did, it was so cute. I really give it like a 3.5, but I rated it 3 stars on Goodreads because probably closer to a 3 than a 4. It follows these 2 characters, Tiffy and Leon, and they actually share an apartment. They share an apartment, they share a bed, and oddly enough, they have not met in person. So Leon is kind of short on money because his brother's going through some stuff that he needs some extra money for. And Tiffy is in a situation where she needs a place to live and someplace cheap. So Tiffy rents out Leon's apartment. She gets the apartment at night when she gets off work, where Leon works nights because he is a nurse. And then Leon gets the apartment during the day while Tiffy's at work. And then on weekends, Leon spends time at his girlfriend's. When it starts to get interesting and kind of cute is when Tiffy and Leon start leaving these little like sticky notes all over the place for each other. And they start to build this relationship, like they really get to know each other on a really kind of deep personal level without ever meeting in person. The book also reads an alternate point of views. So you get Leon's point of view and things that are going on in his life and how he feels about Tiffy. And then you get Tiffy's point of view. And actually there's a lot of like little side characters like Tiffy's friends that really add a lot of value to the story. Like they're really good characters even though they're not the main characters. So it did end really cute, so I didn't hate it. I really liked it. I like the ending. It also takes place in London, and I feel like when you read British books, like British setting, they do read differently than American books. So that actually gave it a little bit of different taste as well. So even though I rated it 3 stars, I still do recommend it. I've read other books by Beth O'Leary and I've been pretty satisfied with them so far. In fact, I think I have some other ones on my shelf to read at first. So that's it, guys. That is going to wrap up my September wrap up. Thank you so much for watching, and like I said, Breaking Dawn will be next week, and then the following week I'm going to share with you guys every book that I have on my bookshelf, my official TBR pile, which is over 100 books. Kind of embarrassing. But thank you so much, guys, for watching. Make it a great week, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.